All right, Grant. Pre-show shenanigans. I feel like this is now becoming a yearly phenomena for us for pre-shows. Usually coincides right when I finish finals, Grant. And
Okay.
this is the question. That I
I have a
believe we
feeling I know
asked
where this is going,
last
but
year, bringing it up again this year.
I have
Very
an
timely,
updated list.
very timely for individuals who are taking finals, or maybe you have a really big work project that you're about to present or something. When you're going into this meeting or into finals or whatever, Grant, what is the go-to meme or song or both or video or whatever you watch to get yourself in that exam mindset? It could be a collection, it can be a
Okay.
singular thing. That's, I think, the biggest question.
We'll start. This has been an answer for a while now, and I think it still holds true. Still do this today. In the word, sometimes before a podcast, if it's that electric, I gotta listen to this song beforehand. But the NFL Fox on theme song, I every single time I listen to it, I it's almost like it's not photographic memory. It's like audio picture memory. When I hear
Yeah.
that, I immediately see a video, and it is Cam
Cam
Newton
Newton watching the
in
Seahawks run out.
Seattle watching the
Yep.
Legion of Boom run out of the tunnel, fire exploding out of the like little the fire post
Yeah.
things, whatever the hell they're
Whatever they
called.
used to have. Don't have them anymore.
They I think they just don't really show that many clips of the entrances.
No,
I
they
would
don't. They
say
don't allow fire anymore.
24. Really?
Just smoke. Just smoke.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Tennessee Titans.
Shout out Kane getting the pyros banned. But when you think about, or when I hear that song, I immediately think I'm Cam Newton, prime Cam Newton, by the way, going up against peak Legion of Boom. That's what I just immediately feel like. I will say modification heavily influenced by postseason baseball in the last run. This song, it gets me in my feels, but when I hear Baila la Rocky, da, 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 suértale, suértale, Baila la Rocky, that gets it. Okay.
Gets the people
How
going.
most people feel about Hips Don't Lie Shakira, my hips don't lie when I hear Baila la Rocky. Like my hips start moving. Shakira enters
You start
me.
shaking.
I become Shakira when I hear the Rocky walkout song.
Yeah.
Also, new contender, new signing of the LA Dodgers. We all have to become massive trumpet guys now. Like that song's now in every playlist.
Let me run you through what I did today. I had my exam today when we recorded this, my last exam.
This is good. Do you have a playlist like specifically titled pre-final hype?
It's not for pre-final, but it is like the same. I go through and I cue the same set of songs. Okay, this is what it's a
question. So do you play the same songs before a final as when you do before pre-gaming?
No, different. Sometimes some overlap, but different.
There is overlap. There is some
overlap, but it's very different. This is what I do. All right, so right before I leave my apartment to go to campus to walk to class, to where I'm taking my final, right? I do the JJ McCarthy, I'm sitting on the ground meditating shit. I lock in 9, okay? That's what I do. Then I proceed to send somebody
who does the warm-up with you, like Harbaugh, like who punches you in the chest.
I mean, instead of punching the chest, it's fist bumps around.
The NFL Fox on theme song hits you in the chest.
Yeah, but then after the meditation, I send somebody some meme of however I feel at that moment. Today it was Narco. It was the Edwin Diaz run out before my exam. I think I sent you the Cam Newton video the other day. So I'll send somebody some video.
How often do you watch the Joan Duran walk-in entrance?
It's Edwin Diaz over Spider.
We'll workshop that next semester.
I get to campus. All right. I've been playing just general music, whatever. Like it's usually like I start Holiday by Green Day, and then it goes to Unfortunate Son, and it goes
like Over the Head by The Fray. Does that get in there?
No, that's too sad. Can't do that. But as I walk to class, I play the entire Miracle on Ice speech on YouTube and listen to that while I walk over.
We're talking the Disney
The
Miracle on
Disney
Ice
movie.
speech.
The movie,
not
the
a
actual
recording of
No,
the
no, no,
actual
no.
one that
I watched
someone
the movie.
snuck his flip phone in for.
I watched the movie. I get locked in. This is my time today, all right? The Soviets, their time is done, Grant. Get in there.
All right.
Listen to some general music, whatever. And then NFL on Fox theme song. Right. Last thing before I lock in NFL on Fox. I gotta take it.
I will say a new addition in my list, heavily influenced by fight songs. I had a period last year when the new college football game came out where I was just listening to fight songs. And I will say, and I'm kind of rooting for them to make it there because I want to hear their themes or their fight song, but the Texas A&M fight song, when you get to like a minute 20 into it, it will change to the tune of the song One Dark Night When We Were All in Bed. Old Lady Leary left the lantern in the shed, and when the cow kicked it over. That song. And when I hear that, I become the 12th man. I become a yell leader. I might be doing some ridiculous motions to hype up the crowd of the 12th man. But that fight song gets me going. And I also want to say they cheated because they have like a nursery rhyme tune in their fight song. Cheating. But it gets me hyped. It does a good purpose. Good idea.
You ever play like the national anthem just to feel very hyped out? Like, national anthem right before a game starts, you feel a little patriotic, you feel a little rallied, a little inspired. Or is it just
I haven't looked into that. That may need to get included in there. Do you have a specific rendition that you're thinking of?
I feel like I would need it with the video accompanying it of like a major sporting event. Like I either need it to be like the United States versus Canada in hockey, or US versus England in soccer, or just a opening weekend of college football, specifically college.
I may want a version. I don't remember. I feel like this occurred. Like, was there an Olympic basketball game last Olympics where the fans like booed the American national anthem, then Team USA like shit pumped them like by 70 points?
It might have been Canada or something. I don't remember.
I feel like there was something like that.
That might have been hockey last year in the winter, whatever.
That was it.
Classic, yeah.
Now we lost the one that mattered. Forget about that.
I would just.
It was an all-star game. Who cares?
Last thing I would like to add before we start the episode. Honorable mention the LeBron video of him on the Heat where he's doing his whole like hype out with like he's got the hand motions, he locks in, he goes like this, hands out, and then it's like the highlight cuts of him just locking in.
Now I believe you're specifically referencing the Game 6 where he's barely see his eyes. He's leaning over and he's about to drop 45 on prime Celtics head.
But there's also one where it's like kind of an underneath shot, and it's him. He does like a pregame like.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm specifically thinking of the Game 6 edits in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm trying to think. Is there? Yeah, if there's one more highlight thing that will get me pumped. Other than Tavon Austin, sometimes you just gotta pull up the good old classic Seventh Woods highlight from high school. I mean, what the hell? Also, I had to look this up recently. This is how we'll end off. I have recently gotten to a deep binge on Jeff Teague stories, and I think he might be the most interesting storyteller in the NBA of like a recent player. Just because his perspective is so like unique, being like 6-man most of his career off the bench. Like his stories about Jimmy Butler and Cat Everett, I know you would love them. You would love them.
I think
you'd be crying laughing.
Would love them.
You'd be crying hearing the shit. Jeff Teague's just like, you just have to look it up. Look up Jeff Teague, Jimmy Butler, Cat story. It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. But what a pre-show. You guys got all the hype songs there. NFL Fox on theme. That's classic. I will say, I think it's CBS. Bum bum ba ba bum 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 ba 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 ba. Is that CBS?
I think that's CBS.
That one's been growing on me recently. Now it's not the same hype. Like
there's the ones where
Fox,
it's like all
you got
the
the
bells.
trumpets.
Which one's all the bells? Is that CBS? Is the bells CBS?
ESPN.
ESPN. The Bells also has kind of gotten like they've elevated their game a little bit more.
I feel like as NFL's now partnered with ESPN, as they start giving games, the bells are going to grow on us as we see better Monday Night Football games. Yeah. Amazon song, we got to workshop that one. I could not tell you how that goes at all. So we got to work on that one, Bezos. But without further ado, got to mute myself on the other level. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. It is episode 354. I had to make sure I got that number right. Episode 354. And Notre Dame is snubbed from the college football playoff. There's something in the air tonight. Fernando Mendoza is your 2025 Heisman Trophy winner, and Brian Hartline is the head coach of UCF, the Golden Knights.
USF, not UCF, USF.
Oh, sorry, USF. Sorry, South Florida Express. My bad.
Very different.
Bulls.
Very different. Very different.
True. UCF. That's the home of Blake Bortles.
Well, okay. Why don't we start on the most, I think, polarizing thing from the last week, and I think you and I both have an agreement of the way that the college football playoff should have occurred.
Yeah. How did Ole Miss stay at the 6th seed? How did they not drop?
I do think you and I agree on how it should have occurred, but in different ways. And the prospect of G5s maybe you agree on, but for different reasons. Just generally speaking, all right, here's the biggest thing. Like, obviously, Ole Miss staying where it is kind of crazy considering you lost your head coach. And even though you have staff back, like, head coach makes a huge difference, even if everybody else still is retained. And then you have Miami and Notre Dame flipping spots after Notre Dame was ahead of Miami last week, or I guess a week and a half ago now. And then now you obviously have JMU and Tulane both getting in. Now, here's the thing. Conference champions, obviously, I don't think that they were expecting 2 G5s again. I don't think they expected the ACC to be this bad. And if Virginia won that game as well, I don't think we'd be having the same argument.
No. I will say that the second I found out Duke was in that ACC championship game, immediate Duke money.
I think Notre Dame, it's still the same. Like, it's a weird conundrum. Like, if Virginia wins, I don't know if they give Miami the seed instead of Notre Dame because they're trying to get an ACC team in. But if
I don't think they do.
If Notre Dame were still left out for Miami and Virginia, then they're going to still be arguing over how they should have it over to.
I think the issue is they kind of set a precedent the past month or so that Notre Dame is ahead of Miami. They kind of were telling Notre Dame indirectly, you have looked your part, you're in.
Neither team played the week going into the college football playoff selection.
Yeah, it's purely based on external factors.
And I mean, you're getting pressure from the ACC to put in a team. And then you have Notre Dame in its own right, who obviously plays against some ACC teams. They have a contract, but now they're in a situation where they get bullshit. And they did lose to Miami. Yeah, they did lose to A&M, but the committee said there wasn't that big of differences. And if there really wasn't that big of differences, it should have stayed the way it is.
Between Miami and Notre Dame, you mean?
Between Miami and Notre Dame. Yeah, with Notre Dame ahead. But Grant, here's the biggest thing. Okay. I see there's so much stuff being like Notre Dame should be in. There's G5s taking their spotters or whatever. Grant, you know what a really easy solution to the whole problem of Notre Dame not getting a bid is? Just be in a conference, play in a conference championship game because you automatically get in based off of that.
Yeah, now the issue is they had an opportunity 2 years ago to join the Big. The Big Ten was actually on their hands and knees crawling to Notre Dame, begging for them to join. They were like, we don't need you. We don't need a conference. And I will say that, Notre Dame, they can complain, but still, objectively speaking, for the most part, they still have a pretty unfair advantage that usually if they're 10-2, they're just in.
Also, here's the thing. You should be in, right? But when it comes to tiebreakers in the situation that happened this year, right? your tiebreakers without a conference championship game are to teams that might have an equal say and an equal claim based on record. And without a conference championship game, that's really what would be used as a tiebreaker in that situation. And also, generally speaking, when you look at Bama, because the three teams were Bama, Notre Dame, and Miami, right? Like,
yeah, I was done with them.
If
BYU was out,
if you don't put in Bama, then you're gonna have people who don't care about conference championship games because you're gonna be like, well, I don't want to lose the conference championship game and get removed from the playoffs, and that technically happened to BYU.
Yeah, my other thing with Bama though is like, okay, they looked bad against Georgia. I know they had negative rushing yards. Like, they looked bad. I get it. What I'll say though is that Alabama beat Georgia in Athens this year. And
I mean,
like that, like they cancel each other out. BYU got demolished twice.
So, which makes a difference. And I mean, it is hard to beat a team twice. So if you do beat a team twice, like that makes a credible difference. But like just as a perspective thing, right? If you don't put in Bama, then you have teams who are gonna be like, I don't want to go to a conference championship game because if I lose, I might be out. Then you have Miami, right? Miami is scheduling opponents out of conference. They're playing a harder schedule, and you have the ACC stuff. So if you don't put them in, then there's another problem regarding the perspective of how they made their schedule. Then you have Notre Dame, and also it's just like, well, Notre Dame, right? Like, if you put Notre Dame in, then other schools aren't going to want to put Notre Dame on their schedule. And
real quick, like Notre Dame and Miami, both schools, if either got left out, both would have the same complaint. Like, why did we play that preseason game at all? Yeah. Notre Dame does get, obviously, they're like, if we, pull a Texas, if we played Northern Illinois, that hits close to home. Sorry, guys. But if they played a different directional school, then they're 11-1 and in. And, like, I think, though, committee kind of showed everyone, you don't really gain playing those out of conference preseason. Like, you don't really gain from it.
Maybe seeding wise, it matters. And I mean,
if you win it, it helps you, but it's like the risk of what it could do to harm you significantly outweighs the benefit.
I do think the argument is a little bit different for an SEC school. Like, I know Texas, people were arguing for Texas to be like, oh, well, if Texas doesn't get in, then people aren't going to want to schedule out of conference games. Well, SEC requires their schools to schedule those out of conference games.
Yes, yeah, so and that's now like
that's way different. That's like a whole conference wide thing.
All P4 teams, you're required to schedule one P4 out of conference. It's like, Texas, Sark already said, and the AD, like, we're honoring the Ohio State and Michigan home and aways. Like, we went to Columbus, like, we're gonna honor it and have them come visit us, but I agree, Sark. Like, you should cancel all those future. Like, Ohio State still has home schedule with Alabama and Georgia from 2028 to 2032.
No, I know.
Why?
When it comes to playoffs, doesn't make sense. Money is a little bit different, but playoff
sure, but like,
I mean, look, just back to Notre Dame though. Like, here's the bigger thing. Because of I don't know if I would call it a tantrum or whatever you want to call it.
It was fully a tantrum.
After they got left out, Notre Dame has now essentially been guaranteed a spot in the playoffs if they're ranked in the top 12, which essentially is they're just a conference champion. They just don't have to play in a conference championship game. That's what it comes to me, and that's what comes to mind. For me,
it's quite pathetic. Notre Dame had to get that protection.
I do think, generally speaking, like, we talk about 5 conference champions getting in. Like, Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference, so they don't play a conference championship game. But if you just use a similar perspective, they technically would have been the 5th best conference team getting in over JMU if there was kind of that mindset and application.
Notre Dame.
If you were like, hey, Notre Dame didn't, let's just, they obviously don't have a conference championship or anything, but like, if they did have a conference championship, or they played UConn or whatever, which they would have won just the Independence Conference Championship.
That'd be so funny.
They get in over.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Navy and Army are in the American, but Air Force isn't?
I don't think they are, no.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But
UConn, Notre Dame, and Air Force.
Here is just like the other thing, though, just for G5s and everything that people are talking about for G5s and how they're taking up spots we shouldn't be giving to them. First of all, the format that currently is used with 5-team auto bids was unanimously approved in 2021 by the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, the SEC, the Pac-12, and Notre Dame. That is no G5 conferences. So the format used and the outcome of the format was by determination of people.
But also at that time, there were 5 power conferences.
Yeah.
Pac-12
still doesn't necessarily count, but still determined by the people.
They don't.
Still determined by the people. On top of that, you have people being like, well, G5s are going to get, skunked in the first round if they play. Okay, well, look at the playoffs last year. Tennessee got murdered. Indiana lost pretty bad. Like, we have teams who, like, Alabama just got pumped in the conference championship game. Like, we see Power 4 teams who are good get absolutely worked by other Power 4 teams all the time. And then on top of it, if you really thought the G5 teams were such a luxury to play against, then you should play them in the regular season. You should be like, great, I want to schedule these games in the regular season because they're free wins. But you don't do that because you're scared that if you lose, it might hurt your playoff chances. You can't have it both ways. You either think that it's going to be easy and they don't deserve to be there, so you should play them in the regular season.
Wait, help me out with the afraid to schedule G5 teams.
There's just arguments being like, hey, G5 teams should have no chance. They're going to lose badly in the playoffs, right? They shouldn't be in there because there's better teams, better schools that deserve to be in there, like a 9-3 Texans, right? Then the counter argument to that is, well, if G5 teams stand no chance against Power 4 teams, you should be fine scheduling them in the regular season. But if you look at it, a lot of the time, the best G5 teams that are in contention for playoff spots are not scheduled by many, if any, of those Power 4.
But like a lot of those are like set.
They're kind of set, but you still don't see.
Yeah, it's not like
I know, but you still.
Ohio State's not calling up Tulane right now. Like, let's go schedule the 29.
I know, but it's you don't see those same Power 4 schools being like, yeah, I'll play you. Instead, they schedule Citadel or something, right? Like, that's just the argument is if it really was such a difference between the Power 4 and G5, which sometimes there are, sometimes they're not. You shouldn't be super concerned about Power 4 schools, losing or winning to G5 schools. And if you are concerned or not concerned about that, then you shouldn't, you should be fine playing them in the regular season if it really is such a big difference.
I will say this. I think it's probably virtually impossible for a G5 team to pull off 4 straight wins. Right now, I'd say it's virtually impossible.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's guaranteed, but I do think that upsets are possible. And
sure. I think though it's like as the Ohio State fan in the room, I think there should be 8 G5 protections. It should just be 4 teams.
The reason why you say that is,
yeah, we BTAing the field if that happens. I enjoy being my position as Ohio State fan. We're the only team guaranteed in the playoff every year, no matter what. The earth could stop spinning. Ohio State's still in the playoff. But I will say, like, in terms of the approach, like people were bringing up Tennessee, Indiana getting wiped. SMU also got wiped, but it was slightly different. It's just, I think going up against even Indiana last year, Tennessee is obviously a perfect example. Like, Ohio State BTA'd Tennessee, but it's not like they sleptwalk that week preparing for Tennessee. Texas sleptwalked through Arizona State week. And I think it's just the mental toll going up, preparing.
Arizona State did play that gauntlets. Game very well, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I will say, though, Texas was playing their C- game in that one. Yeah, and then against Ohio State, they play their A game.
And, I mean, as a general thing, yeah, like, if you're a Power 4 school and you're like, oh, we're playing against G5, maybe you care a little bit less or whatever. But there are teams like Tulane, versus USC in the Cotton Bowl, right, where those schools are teams that will actually come out and can play very well against Power 4 opponents and are not a team that should be considered a charity case or anything like that because they can make movements. Are they going to win it all? It's against the odds that they do. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, but it's very unlikely. And I do just think, generally speaking, the argument being that there's more deserving Power 4 schools that should get in over a top G5 school that might be able to pull off an upset.
I don't think there's more
bullshit.
deserving teams.
Is bullshit.
No.
If you want
9-3,
if you want a 9-3 team to make the to the playoffs, they shouldn't be losing 3 games. A 3-loss team, unless somehow there are absolutely worse teams available, they should not be in the playoffs. Win your games. That's how you make the playoffs. If you want a true charity case, a charity case would not be a G5 team making. A charity case would be letting a 3 or 4 loss team make the playoffs. That's the whole point, is win your games to make it. Win and in. That's the entire point.
I will say though, it's just the committee, like they should, like it's not about most deserving.
No, I get
when it
it
fits their role, it'll be like this year they were kind of like most deserving.
My argument still stems within G5 because people want to just like get rid of the whole thing. I understand JMU getting in and that being a complication to the Notre Dame stuff. And if you want to rework it, I would be like, hey, disregard conference champions, just have the top G5 conference champion get an auto bid. The rest of the 11 seeds, just fill it in. Champion or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That would be the way to do it, because
championship
game doesn't really matter.
I have no problem with Miami over Notre Dame. I think that was the right decision. However, everyone's been saying their process going by it was so wrong. It was. They made the right move, but their process of going by it was just fumbled the entire way.
Look, games need to matter. Like who you play and your performance against them needs to matter.
Yeah, I'd say we're seeing the committee. We saw them baked in their rankings. Their predictions were also baked in there. We saw that. And that's not what this should be. They are playoff rankings based on what you've done, not what I think you're going to be.
I do agree that Notre Dame down the stretch looks much better than Miami did. Miami had some very bad losses compared to Notre Dame's 2 losses.
Oh yeah. We need to start there. If they rematch today, oh yeah, bro, give me CJ Carr and Jeremiah.
Notre Dame is smashing it. And also, to be fair, that first game was horrible weather in Miami.
The weirdest game plan of all time. CJ Carr's throwing 50 times. Yeah. It made no sense. It seemed like it was a prep game for the playoffs. Let's throw you into the fire, and this how we're going to get you.
The same thing can be said with A&M. A&M was also, I think it was the next week, and they were
they should be in. A&M should be in.
I know, but I'm saying just for Notre Dame on their schedule, they barely lost to A&M.
Sure,
and it was 1 or 2 play differences that made that game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Second start of CJ Carr's career. Coming off a game versus Miami, who's another playoff team. So I get it. The arguments can be made. And I think going forward, just for the sanctity of everybody being happy, it might be in the format of either let's go to 16 teams or,
we're obviously going to 16 next year.
Conference champions. But I still think no matter what, a G5, there should be at least one G5 auto bid for best highest rate.
If we go to 16, there better be a G5 auto bid, because the 16th team Everett would be Michigan. They do not deserve a chance to play. They don't.
It's the same thing. If you want to talk about G5s being in, as a charity case, like I said before, though, letting in a team that has a substantial number of losses, like a 3-loss Texas, like Michigan.
I'll say the 16 team would have been electric this year. Get Vandy in there. Get Texas in there. It would have been electric this year.
But it's still the same thing. I'm saying within a.
I'll say this though. I bet next year. I bet next year there's 9 teams that are worthy, and you wouldn't even be able to fill out a 12 next season, and we're on the 16.
Here's my other thing to people who are just do the top 16 ranked teams.
It's just a weird year.
But for people who say just do it, the top ranked teams 1 to 12 or 1 to 16 or whatever, and don't do any auto bids. For G5 teams, a G5 team will literally never make it, because the highest the committee will ever rank them, unless they are physically forced to do so, is 20. Or 18 or something.
No, the only time it would,
and they don't watch
that
the
Cincinnati
games.
Year.
They don't, or when UCF was undefeated.
When they were national champions.
Yeah, when they were national champions. But
national champions.
Tulane Cotton Bowl year, we wouldn't have been ranked in the playoffs that year. They would have found a way to exclude us for that. Boise last year, I guess they would have made the cut technically, but it takes a really, really long time for the committee to move any G5 team up or down. And they really don't watch the games at all. So they have no basis of understanding of where, these teams are at in the G5, and they just put them accordingly because they have to rank them, not because they really want.
I will say though, the G5 has an opportunity this playoff to prove everyone wrong. If what everyone thinks happens though, yeah, it'll be tough to spin this one. I will say though, to anyone saying like get rid of conference championship games, the Ohio State-Indiana Big Ten Championship was the most watched non-Ohio State and Michigan broadcast in the history of Fox Sports.
Also, just generally speaking,
they're not canceling the Big Ten Championship game, folks.
For team side of that, you have players who like just for pride want to win their conference. And then also schools I'm pretty sure get compensated for winning the conference as well. So there's incentives there's incentives for players, for coaches, for schools to win the conference championship.
Of course. I will say that when you look at it now, it's like, did Ohio State lose to Indiana? Did that increase Ohio State's odds of a national championship? Yes, it did.
Well, I want to get into your game now. I want to get into Indiana. Ohio
yeah, it did.
So, lose 13-10, same score that you lost to Michigan last year. And we've talked about this beforehand. We were talking about it largely with Michigan, Grant, but last year that loss I feel like really woke the entire team up, because they're like, hey, this is how it feels to lose. Obviously, it was a bigger game because it was Michigan, right? But we don't want to feel that way, and it kind of sparked something to go into the playoffs. And this is kind of the same way, where this is to go into the playoffs. This is their first loss of the season for a lot of people. It's
like right before the playoff, which I love.
For a lot of players, it's also their first loss ever. And
as
now you have that feeling of, hey, this is what a loss is. Like if you're Ryan Day in your locker room, be like, hey, everybody, remember this feeling. Remember how this tastes. Remember how this feels. Remember how this sounds, because you don't want to ever have this feeling again. And like that's fuel, especially for a team like Ohio State, who proved last year that they can go in off of that and use that to drive themselves through the playoffs. And I know you were taking a little bit to I guess decompress from the game, but my mindset.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of Ohio State football in my life. There's two versions of Ohio State, but
yeah, my mindset from that game was like, yeah, it's a loss, that sucks, but like I am more certain now that Ohio State will and can win the national championship compared to before the conference championship game.
Yeah, I'll just say there's two types of Ohio State throughout my life. Whenever Ohio State's like the number one team all year, they've never won. And Nick Saban was even saying at Alabama, he has like 9 national championships at Bama, 8. Only
something around there. Yeah.
Only 2 times did he have an undefeated national champion. Like 75% of his championships, those teams had a loss or two, probably just one loss. But Saban was saying that, and he was like, for those teams with one loss who won national championships, Saban said, I don't think we win a national championship if we don't lose. And that loss helped us stay focused and like gave everyone a clear target and goal to work for on the team. But kind of the same thing with Ohio State. Like whenever Ohio State is like crowned as the best team, it usually doesn't end up well, at least in my life. Like usually doesn't end up well. 2015, 2019 kind of, 21, 2015, all the years where they're like ranked, oh my God, the best team. It never, ever goes to plan. But when Ohio's like, wait, I gotta make sure you have me right here.
Yeah.
Can you?
I can barely.
Frozen right now.
Yeah.
Want to make sure we got this in.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
We good now?
We're good.
Okay. All right. I was saying Ohio State. There's 2 versions, and I was telling you about the hyped up version. It usually doesn't go well.
We heard the years.
When everyone says Ohio State sucks, and by everyone I mean primarily the own Ohio State fan base.
Yep.
That is when the Buckeyes play pissed. And I'll say this. Nobody wants to play Ohio State when Ohio State is hot. Nobody wants to play Ohio State when they're mad. And that's the Ohio State that needs to be there to win just the playoff moving forward, to win 3 straight games. You're going to need to be a jug killer, like Ryan Williams, kill everybody on the eye tape, okay? Yeah. And right now, that can be assembled. I was really hoping they dropped us down to 3, both for seeding and for motivation. So double whammy, why I wanted them to drop below Georgia. I will also just say, though, I don't think the committee made a good idea setting that conference champion doesn't harm you, because like 12-1 Ohio State, 12-1 Georgia. Georgia's an SEC champ. Like, how is Ohio State over Georgia?
I mean, I do.
Just looking at that.
We talked about it before, and it's just like, if you are a conference champion, you should be ranked higher than a team that has lost.
The Big Ten and SEC should be 1-2.
It shouldn't eliminate you from the playoffs, but like it should drop your seeding. That's I think the difference. When I think
that's the key. You're not bouncing the playoffs, but yes, rankings
when I think it shouldn't harm you, I think more so that means it shouldn't eliminate you from the playoffs, not that it shouldn't move you up or down for seeding purposes.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the bracket, like, yes, Georgia at 3, ideally, expectedly, will have a better matchup than Ohio State will at 2, because Georgia playing either Tulane or Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin is going to be a much favorable matchup for them compared to Ohio State playing either Miami or Texas A&M. And also for A&M, like if they go through, they're playing in Texas, in Dallas, in the Cotton Bowl. And if Tulane goes through, obviously they're playing the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. But how much does that quote unquote home field advantage really help? So who knows? But really, the 2 and 3 seeds, like Georgia, technically benefited.
Zero concern over my Texas takeover part 2. Zero concern.
Georgia, though, seeding wise, benefited more than Ohio State for Ohio State's loss.
100%, not even close. I'll say this: to say in Miami, unless through Notre Dame in there, who could have also been that game. Start with Texas A&M. Zero fear that Texas A&M could beat Ohio State. Literally, I'd go so far to say there's a 0% chance A&M could beat Ohio State. Miami, if Miami's playing at potential, they can beat Ohio State. Oh, yeah, they can. Beck could be 3 pick back and then Ohio State wins easy, but he also could just not throw picks and then it's like, oh, fuck. And then Notre Dame, yeah, that's a slugfest. That's a dogfight. Like, shit, I do not want to play Notre Dame, but I am Texas A&M's biggest fan. I actually want it even more to have them in the Cotton Bowl, because there's nothing like an Ohio State video after being an SEC team saying they run through the SEC. Nothing gets me more hyped than Jermaine talking his shit, saying the SEC's dog. So, yeah, no, not concerned about them at all. Georgia, though, shit. I don't like that, Kirby. I don't like that you guys are a football team. I don't like that one bit. Especially if Chauncey Bones gets back. Hell no. I don't want that smoke. And they're gonna be in the semifinal.
Hey, maybe Tulane makes a run. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, let's just do a little fun prediction here, Grant, before the games start. Let's do each round, winners, moving on.
Oh yeah, also my reaction right there. Jim Knowles has been announced as the Tennessee defensive coordinator.
Ooh, I'm so sorry.
Josh Heupel, what? I had respect for you. I had.
Grant, let's do college football playoff bracket. We can do a fun one and a serious one, as we normally do for any playoff scenarios. Pick the winners each week, go into the conference championship game, pick your conference.
Conference champ, playoff
champion. Sorry, yeah, playoff champion.
Okay, let me get
national champion.
Let me get the bracket.
I have it up, so I can go first. I'll just go by round.
I see it. I was gonna see it.
First round, Oregon, Bama, Tulane, A&M. Second round, Oregon beats Texas Tech. Indiana beats Bama. Fun one, Tulane beats Georgia. And then Ohio State beats A&M. semifinals, Indiana is going to beat Oregon, and Tulane will beat Ohio State. Tulane national champions versus Indiana. Going seriously though, Oregon, then Bama, then Tulane, then Texas A&M. Oregon will beat Texas Tech. Indiana will beat Bama. Georgia will beat Tulane. Ohio State will beat A&M. Ohio State will beat Georgia. Indiana will beat Oregon, and we have an Indiana-Ohio State conference national championship game where I will give it to Ohio State.
Okay, these are my official solidified picks, no changes. Oregon, Bama, Ole Miss, Miami. Next round, Oregon beats Tech. Indiana beats Bama. Georgia beats Ole Miss. Ohio State beats Miami. In the semis, Oregon beats Indiana. Ohio State beats Georgia. Ohio State beats Oregon, the Natty.
Oregon with a deep run. I do just think
they're really good.
I do just think both G5 teams in this situation, just in the first round, it's going to be a closer game than any. I will just throw that.
Sorry, you just cut out from what do you?
I do think in the first round, both of these G5 matchups will be closer than anybody expects right now. That is my take.
Define what you mean by that, because right now the spread, Oregon is a 21.5 point favorite. Ole Miss is a 17.5 point favorite. On the flip side, for the other two, Oklahoma, the home.
We're cutting in and out here, but the definition that I mean, you're good now, but just the definition that I mean is Oregon's 21.5 point favorites right now. I think that James Madison can pull that within 10 to 14 points. I think that this Ole Miss Tulane game will be a one-score game. So, all right, on to the NFL, Grant. So this past week I went 8-6. I don't know exactly how you did.
10-4.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Once again, I get the privilege of doing the game calls for this week. Grant, here are our games. Thursday night, we have Falcons versus Bucks. Sunday, noon slate, we have Browns, Bears, Ravens, Bengals, Chargers, Chiefs, Bills, Patriots. I don't know when the rest of the times are because I didn't have them marking down. But rest of the day, we have Commanders, Giants, Raiders, Eagles, Jets, Jags, Cardinals, Texans, Packers, Broncos, Lions, Rams, Panthers, Saints, Titans, 49ers, Colts, Seahawks. And then Sunday night, we have Vikings, Cowboys. Monday night, Grant, we have Dolphins versus Steelers. Here are my picks. Going a little bit out there this week. I think technically pulling for some upsets here. Not entirely sure. It might not be by spread or not, but in my mind, technically upsets. Grant, here are my picks. Bucks, Browns, Bengals, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Jags, Texans, Packers, Rams, Saints, 49ers, Seahawks, Vikings, and Steelers.
All right. Here are my picks for the week. Bucks, Bears, Ravens, Chargers, Bills, Giants, Eagles, Jags, Texans, Packers, Rams, Panthers, Niners, Seahawks, Cowboys, and Dolphins.
Okay. Dolphins, interesting upset pick there.
I think I know the Steelers down to a T. It's taken me a while to really get it, but I have them down this year. For the rest of the season, if the Steelers are ever favorited in a game, they're losing. If they're ever an underdog in a game, especially at home, they're winning outright.
So what you really mean by that is they're going to lose as a favorite.
They play down and then
this is what I'm saying.
Up.
They're going to lose as a favorite because they lost that game. The next week they'll then be underdogs, and then they'll win the game.
Well,
because they then win the game as the underdog, they then become the favorite the following.
Well, that can slightly factor into it, but just pure matchup optics based.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I also like I can see that, and I don't think Mike McDaniel is coaching for his job really anymore. I think he's got it secured for another year, as much as we thought at the beginning of the season he can't. But I do think that it doesn't help. However, it is Stephen Ross. He might be in the ear being like he did to Brian Flores, being like, "Hey, I need you to tank. We need a good pick right now." So you never know. But Grant, let's just look at some key games this week. Patriots have a chance to lock down the AFC East with a win this week and get into the playoffs. So big game there. And then generally just a lot of NFC North potential playouts here. Packers are in control. Then you have the Lions taking on a team in the Rams who are obviously very good. And then the Bears are right there behind them. And it's not like the Browns have been playing poorly at all lately and have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And then on top of that, in this Packers-Broncos game, I believe the Broncos are playing for a chance to lock up a playoff spot. I'm not entirely sure if it's to win the AFC West. It also might be. So a lot of potential.
They'd essentially lock up the division if they'd essentially
a lot of things on the line of these matchups, and I think the two biggest games, really in my mind, there are really three games that I think are really big, but the two key ones this week are Bills Patriots and Lions. Those are like my two games of the week.
Those two are massive. Packers Broncos. I'm very interested. I feel like we're learning a lot.
One. That's the third one that I have.
I am personally interested. Obviously in Chargers Chiefs, like Chargers have a chance to eliminate Chiefs from the playoffs if they win this weekend.
That's also why I'm taking the Chiefs.
And then also Dolphins Steelers, like
you really are on the Steelers.
6-7 and 7-6, just flip flop. Like I think both teams are gonna be 7-7 after this week. But
no, I mean that is very possible. But I mean,
like if Dolphins lose, it's like season's over.
I mean, great. And end of the day, it doesn't matter what happens this week. Steelers go 9-8. So we know that it's gonna happen. It will happen. But I want to start with this Bills Patriots matchup. I think we're both on Bills, and here's my thought process. I don't know how you thought. It is.
We're both Bills.
We're both Bills. We're both Bills. And I know that this is a game where you could argue, be like, hey, the Patriots, you look at how many games they've won in a row, Grant, they've been on absolute heater for like 10 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But, this is really for the Bills. They came out with a close win versus the Bengals last week. They are still fighting, trying to win the conference. And I think this is one of those games where it's like the Bills are going to come out. They're going to win just because they don't want to go out without a fight, and the Patriots are going to lock it up. That's really my
lock it up the week after. Is that what you said?
Yeah, they'll end up just. I don't know how it spreads out. The Patriots are going to end up winning this division. I just think that the Bills are going to end up playing it hard in order to try and give themselves a chance to win the AFC East.
I'll say my thought process on this one is like 2-3 weeks ago, Will Campbell gets hurt, and since then. There have been some changes to the Patriots offense. There was like a 3-week stretch where Trevion Henderson looked like he was here. And then I think it's just been 1 week without Will Campbell that they played, but significantly more limited in his yards per touch.
Yeah.
And also Bosa, ironically, it's proof that the Chargers have a curse. The second he leaves, he has zero injury concerns, and he's playing like he's elite again. And they have a pass rush. They do have a pass rush. The rest of the Bills' defense, TBD. Yeah, TBD. But they do have a pass rush. There is a route to stopping the Patriots.
Also, I mean, what I will say
on offense,
it's the same reason really why I took the Chiefs versus the Chargers. I took the Chargers the first time. You guys beat the Chiefs, obviously. The Bills, in this situation, they lost to the Patriots, I'm pretty sure, early in the season.
They did.
And that was a 3-point game, 23-20, early in the season. The Bills, I think, have found themselves a little bit more. I think they started off a little slow, and now that it's kind of been up.
They did. I think Kincaid's like fully back now.
Yeah. And this is one of those, it's in the division. You throw everything out the fucking window, Grant. It's hard to beat a team twice. I'm also leaning on that a little bit on top of just the general situational aspects of
a lot of my thought process was they're going to split. Yeah.
That really is what it comes down to. But a really good game there. And then looking at the Lions Rams, this is a game that we've seen pretty often, honestly, over the last, I think.
Yeah, they're scheduling this one. Well, remember it's in LA, so Stafford's kids can be at this one without being harassed.
And I think the last two have been in Detroit because it's either been the playoffs or I think it's just
Stafford's kids haven't been able to go.
And I do think it's a little bit different when you have Goff making the return versus Stafford making the return to Detroit. But the Rams have just I know they looked okay, not amazing the other week, but compared to what they've been doing all season.
Yeah, Stafford throwing a couple picks.
Not this week. Certainly, I'm more so saying not this past week with the Cardinals, but before that. But I do think that for the Lions, this is a big game for the Lions to win because they've been kind of mediocre, lackluster, whatever. I do think this is the first game that the Rams and Lions have played without Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's been the OC for every other matchup they've had. And I do think that that's going to make a sizable difference in the offensive efficiency of Jared Goff in this game compared to what they've done in the past against the Rams. So I'm just expecting fireworks from that offense. And I mean, it's a big game for the Lions and the fact that they need
fireworks from the Rams or the
Rams. It's a big game for the Lions and the fact that they're trying to stay in it to win the NFC North. And I do think that makes it a little bit chippier, but the Rams are essentially going to close the front.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty OP right now. The Rams red zone goal line offense, they line up in that 13. They'll have those two guys out wide. They'll motion the tight end in. If he follows, it's fade or slant to Devontae, depending on if they have inside or outside leverage. And then if he doesn't follow he doesn't motion over with, then boom, Kyren Williams 2-yard touchdown. It's unguardable at this point. They're very efficient in the red zone. So Rams are a problem. We're gonna circle them now. Problem. That's a problem.
Them and the Seahawks are both problems. However, we've seen specifically how much the Rams can give Sam Darnold fits both this year and last year. So if they come to a meeting in the playoffs where they both need to play,
I just think Rams have so many routes to victory.
No, I agree with that. And, Sean McVay knows what he's doing. And that's honestly the biggest thing. But Grant, the last key big game here, Packers and Broncos, interesting toss-up. I think we both were on Packers. I almost went Broncos just because I know that they've been on a bit of a heater. I think it still is Toyota-thon, first of all. Second of all, I don't know how I feel about the Broncos. They've been winning games, but I don't
super
know
tight,
if I'm
not
sold
clean
on them at all. And it might be to win the AFC West, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know
so here I'll tell you this. Okay. Question. Everett, can you tell me now the Broncos? Let's start out with this. The Broncos have not lost a football game since September 14th against the Colts. So they're on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's about the same as the Patriots right now.
Okay, they're on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah.
I believe. Can you tell me the last time they won a game by double digits?
I'm going to say no game in that stretch.
They have won a game by double digits, but the last time they won a football game by double digits was on September 29th when they beat the lifeless Bengals post Burrow 28-3. Since then, won by 4 against the Eagles, won by 2 against the Jets, won by 1 against the Giants. Oh wait, sorry, forgot this one. Shit pumped the Cowboys by 20 points, October 26th. But in their last 5 games, 3-point win, 3-point win, 3-point win, 1-point win, 7-point win. It's been really tight. It's been very close. And I kind of feel like that offense is just very suspect if it's a close one-score game in the end. I don't know how much I trust
It's also
Bo right now.
not a desperate Packers team, but like they are very much trying to get on the right track. Because I feel like
If they win this one,
they're
pretty safe in the playoffs.
There's
11 or 10-3-1.
That, and also for the NFC North, it's big. And I mean, I keep saying the Bears are
the tie changes things too. Yeah. It makes it funky.
I keep saying the Bears are very fraudulent. And I do think they are. That's why I'm pretty sure I bet against them the past couple weeks. But you still got to beat them. The record is the record. And if the Bears somehow, win, they're playing the Browns now. I don't know who they play the rest of the season, but like if they win easy games, they will win the NFC North. And you want to be in a situation where you can win.
I don't want to like knock. I don't want to knock teams that have really good records and like the division sucks. Like people the Pats play no one.
Win is a win. Whether or not
play no one.
Whether or not you'll do well in the playoffs is a different story. But making the playoffs,
key point. It's very nice when it comes to playoff time, and then those teams that were overperforming like are somehow a favorite, and you just get free money on the money line. Like I love that.
The Vikings were in that exact situation when they played the Giants, which by the way was the last time we made the playoffs. I guess we made the playoffs last year, but I just completely wiped it out of my mind.
Yeah. So hell.
But I erased it. I should have erased the Donna Shell game anyways. But that game, I mean, it's the same situation the Bears are in now, where the differential is negative, and you're still somehow one of the best teams in the NFL, and you're going to go in the first round and have some issues versus a quality opponent. But there was something else I wanted to talk about, Grant, and I think that this is honestly the most amazing news the entire week. I think it's cool. I'm interested by it. I think if you're a football lover, a ball lover, you'd like it too. But 44-year-old Grant, Phillip Rivers, your quarterback, is returning to the NFL, likely to start.
Pretty sure he's starting.
Likely to start for the Colts. That's the definition of coming off the couch to play quarterback. Apparently, he's been running Shane Steichen's playbook and scheme for his kids.
Yeah. At his high school, I think he's head coach of a high school team.
But like, I mean, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I love that kind of story. If he can, make it through the playoffs, that'd be great. Like, all he's got to do is just kind of, he's got to just manage the team, and that also I think shows you how little faith they have in Anthony Richardson, because he's on IR with an eye injury. I say
eye injury. Is that what they're claiming? An eye injury?
But I did also see a secondary report that was like Joe Flacco might have asked for a waiver to then be picked up by the Colts so that he would start. That's probably not going to happen now with them using Phillip Rivers. But this is one of those stories where it's like no matter what team you are or who you're a fan of, you're going to root for Phillip Rivers just to perform well off the couch just because.
Oh, of course. I will say I think Phillip Rivers has a chance to make NFL history. Everett, the Seahawks are 14-point favorites in this game. Never in my life have I seen an NFL spread with two teams over 500 with a 2-touchdown spread. I've never seen that ever.
Well, also,
both teams are over 500. I know the situation. But I've never seen a spread this large, and it's too many points. We got to go P. Rivers.
I mean, I agree with that.
Points.
Also, Jonathan Taylor will help with that.
Well, hopefully. Got to get that going again.
Right. I mean, and you need Phillip Rivers to really do that. But I mean, here's my greater question, Grant. For the Colts, they're probably not going to win the AFC South, given the circumstances, and the Texans are kind of picking it up now.
Yeah. Are you ready to join me and Texans win this division?
Most likely.
Come on. Join me.
Most likely.
Come on. And they're winning a playoff game because that's how the NFL works.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's a winner. According to NFL TikTok.
To be fair, the Jaguars are 9-4. They're right behind. They're in front of the Colts now.
Oh, frisky. Jags are frisky. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I also heard this recently. From, I believe, 2004 to 2021, over that 15-year stretch, the Jags only had 2 seasons over 500. They've now had 3 straight seasons over 500.
Really?
Yeah. What a turnaround there.
Here's my question, Grant. Here's my question.
You guys are welcome for giving me that comeback playoff win over us.
Do we think that the Colts can still make the playoffs? And 2, if they made the playoffs, would they be able to win a single game?
No and no.
The injury makes it. They were already, I think, teetering a little
Even if
bit.
Danny Dimes was there, no and no.
I think that if Daniel Jones never fractured his leg, we'd be having a different story. And it's likely the leg fracture probably could have accompanied, it could have been part of the reason why he ended up tearing his Achilles. But I think we'd be in a much different situation if Daniel Jones never got hurt.
I disagree. I think the wheels were falling off.
They were
no
falling
matter
off.
what. Yeah.
You also got to feel bad for Daniel Jones.
I do. Like, he was about to go get 80 mil, 90 mil, 3 years, like play himself in the second contract. I've been talking about forever. The upcoming quarterback crop is not that great. So these guys are going to get second lives.
Here's my biggest question then, Grant. For the playoffs, for the 6 teams that make the playoffs, who is making it in the AFC?
7.
7 teams.
For
Sorry,
each.
7. I went back a year. I regressed in our playoff
Broncos in. Let's say Pats win that one. Texans are the 4, I guess, and then
let me just give you
what conference am
I right now. Patriots, Broncos, Jags, Bills all have over 97%.
Oh, North. Who's winning the North?
Well, see, that's the issue. Is Pittsburgh and Baltimore are both, I think, very close or maybe tied in record right now.
Okay, Steelers 7-6, Ravens are 6-7.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll be the 4.
You're only going to get 1 seed out of that. Only 1 team's going to come out of that.
Texans will be the 3. Jags are a wild card. Bills are a wild card.
Because it will come down to Chargers one of being a wild card.
Us or Steelers?
The Colts.
No. Oh, yeah. And that, oh, wow, we're in. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, God, we're in the playoffs, Everett. Oh, God. Oh, shit. I don't know if I could do this again. Last time this happened. All right, so we're in the playoffs.
Making the playoffs. I won't be.
We usually don't have a good track record once we get into the playoffs, though, on this podcast. Have we even, Yeah, no. I lost by single digits. I lost by single digits.
I have not.
My loss was worse than yours, though.
I have not won a playoff game since starting this podcast.
Me neither. Let me pull it the last time I won a playoff game. Let me just get that.
I'm pretty sure mine was 2019.
Just gotta remind myself. January 6th, 2019. All right.
Great place to end the podcast for this episode. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, and on Instagram, WaterboyPod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett6 and at Waterboy Grant. We post episodes every week on these small podcast platforms. So make sure to subscribe, turn notifications to miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on TikTok and on Instagram as well. So make sure to check us out there so you don't miss anything else. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.